Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and today I have my Q2 update for my 25 in 2025. So I basically have done this for the past couple years, and I pick out a corresponding number of items with the year, and I try to finish them throughout the year. So we do have 25 items that I have been working on. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 more rollouts and some other really great progress. So if you want to see how I'm doing on my 25 in 2025, and then stick around, we're getting into the Q2 update right now. All right, so we are halfway through the year, so I would love to be at the point where I have 12 empties, but that is not the case. And so I do have 6 empties totaled so far. So I do keep my other empties in the Ziploc in my empties bin just so I can keep them separate. So let me dig in there and make a lot of noise, and we will just quickly go over my empties from Q1 would be my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I actually missed this quite a bit. So this was my first foundation empty of the year. And then I also had another empty of my Sephora Tiramisu liner. You guys know the story about this one, how the lead basically has completely fallen out. It's completely dry. It hurts to put on my eyes. So you guys gave me the grace to call this an empty because I basically used the product as much as I could. So those were our 2 empties from the first quarter. And then let me go ahead and show you guys the 4 empties that we got for the second quarter. So the first empty that we did have for the second quarter would be my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I believe that is the full name of this one, but I do have this one in light 2.5 creme brulee, and as you guys can see, this thing is done. I did only have a little bit of this product left, and I have not looked at my B-roll comparisons, but of course I will have my comparisons popping up between last update and this update, so you guys will be able to see the quote-unquote damage that I've been able to make on my products. But this one, I did end up using it up in April, so April 8th, this one was an empty. I don't have weight comparisons on this one just because for some reason in April, I did not weigh any of my products. Like usually I weigh all of my products at the beginning of the month, and April it just didn't happen for me. So I don't have my weight comparisons on this one, but I do have my total uses. So I used this one 249 times to get it empty. So 250 give or take if I forgot to put a tally. 250 uses on this concealer to get that done. The next empty that we ended up having is my Tarte Cushion Foundation. You guys would have seen this in, I believe, my deck of panning. I ended up not enjoying the original formula of this foundation, and this is just the mini that has the 0.15 ounces in it, so very little product. So I ended up actually mixing my other foundation products into this compact, and I ended up getting it done. If you see that dark spot is from my e.l.f. Halo Glow in Tan. That's not it being dirty or stained. That is literally my darker product there. So I ended up getting as much use out of this as I could. I think in total I only got 38 uses out of this cushion foundation before I was not getting consistent like coverage out of it, and that is with me flipping the cushion like every time that I was using it. So I guess if you want to try this, the mini is good. The mini is good to try. I don't like the red formula. I would have to see maybe if the other formulas, but I really actually enjoyed the cushion delivery method, but I also feel like you do end up wasting a lot of product because it gets stuck in that cushion. So 38 uses total on the cushion foundation, and that is my second foundation empty for the year. Then I have a lip empty, which is super exciting, and that is my Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in iced coffee, which I actually really miss this one. to the point that I know it's either ColourPop, I think it is ColourPop, has a coffee flavored lip balm, and I almost bought it the other day. Almost. But I don't need any more lip balms. I just miss the flavor of this one. But I do love the lip butter balms. It is my favorite formula in this like tube consistency for a liquid lip balm. And I will say I've tried the Ole Hendrix one, I've tried the ColourPop one, and I just bought an Ulta one the other day, and this still is my favorite formula and my favorite component to get this type of product from. The glossy stuff that's on my lips today is actually my other one in cherry. So I do love these very, very much. But let's see, I did not track uses, but I did end up, like I said, I don't have any weights for April, but from the end, or actually at the beginning of March, because again, all of my weights are not going to be accurate because I did not weigh anything in April, which again, shame on me. But when I did weigh this at the beginning of March compared to with it being empty, I did end up using 6.12 grams of product. Like I said, I love this. I love the formula. I don't know, do they still have the iced coffee? Is this like a permanent one in the range? I'll have to look because I would go back and repurchase this one. The taste, the smell, the experience, everything, the color, the formula, everything about that I do love. And then my last empty, as I'm shedding on myself, my last empty is going to actually be my eyeshadow primer. So I did have the Milani eyeshadow primer rolled into this project, and this thing is gone. So I squeezed out everything that I possibly could from this. You guys see, like, I am pinching the crap out of this thing. Nothing is coming out. So I did use everything out of this without cutting open the component. I was kind of being done with this. So I did repurchase the MAC paint pot, and I went back to the paint pot as my eyeshadow primer, which is kind of what I am preferring. But this was great while it lasted. So let's see here. Between the beginning of March and it being empty, I did use 1.71 grams of product. So I did get really good use out of this one. Now, this is probably my second or third Milani eyeshadow primer that I've been through. So I do continue to enjoy this product. It's just I am liking the paint pot a whole lot more because it has a pigment to it, and so it does like cover the discoloration and the veins in my eyes, versus this ends up being like a clear primer that isn't going to add coverage to the priming step. So glad to have this done, but that I don't think that will be a repurchase for me, just because I think that the paint pot is where I want to be with an eyeshadow primer. So these 4 products right here, these are going to go in my little bag and into my empties. It says 24 and 2024 because I'm recycling. I'm reusing a bag and not writing something new on it. But these are going to go in my bag. Actually, I have to hold out these two because they're going to be in my buys and buys for June, because the Tier foundation was done in April. The concealer was done in April. Ooh, that was Jane just knocking my stuff. And these two were done in June, so these are going to go in my buys and buys. So that brings us to my remaining 19 items. So we're going to go through some of these things. There's no chance in HE double hockey sticks that I am going to finish these, so I am just getting really good use on them. But otherwise, I have been enjoying using my collection and kind of paying attention to some of these products. But the first item on my progress list is going to be my Fenty Eavesdrop foundation. This is also in my deck of panning for an In It for the Long Haul, so you guys will see this being used month to month in that update. But I'm no longer able to see through the component, so I have not been able to make new marks on it. But I will say that from the beginning of March through now, I have used 2.37 grams of this. And that also is including me actually taking the top off of this, like taking the little nub out of here and adding a little bit of product to this. So little bit of a Franken thing. I didn't weigh it before and after because I mean I'm using this every single time I do my makeup. I'm mixing this in with my foundation concoction, so I'm not worried about using this. But almost 2.5 grams being used on this is actually really good progress because this was ignored a lot because it's not my favorite formula. But we are moving right along. It'll be great when that is a foundation empty as well. And the other liquid foundation that is in this project is going to be my Misha BB cream. This is in shade 21, and we are getting really skinny, and I feel like there's an air bubble in there. I just feel like there's air. So this will be done sooner rather than later. I do mix this in again with my foundation concoction because I love the formula and I love the gray tone of this and how it kind of brings down some of my other foundations to be a little bit more cool toned, which matches my skin tone. I had this in my Amazon cart and then I removed it, and it might go back in because this always needs to be in my collection. Always. So between the beginning of March and now, I have used 7.15 grams of this. You'll see in the side-by-sides that we are getting a lot skinnier in there. Love this product, constant repurchase. This is number 3 that I've tracked. So I've gone through 2 of these prior, and now I have this one. Now, before I had my inventory and before I was tracking, I don't know, I probably used up another one of those, but as far as tracked ones, that is number 3 that we're on. Now let me look at my powder foundation. So this is my Makeup Forever, what do they call this? Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. I'm super curious to see what this one looks in the side-by-side because I know I had a little pan last time, I believe, but look at that pan now. Because I have been working outside of the house and like going into the office and then like kind of being out and about more, like in the hot car and things like that, I've needed to touch up a little bit more. So I am using this as a touch up and as like a blotting powder that adds a little bit of coverage. So this hopefully has a humongous difference on the pan, but between March and now, I have used 0.46 grams of this. And again, hopefully we will see in these side-by-sides that pan has gotten a lot bigger. I do really, really like this foundation and I would buy it again. Part of me is almost like, I know that you can pop this pan out, but I don't know if you can just buy the refills and if the refills on the new formula would just pop into this compact, because there's nothing wrong with this compact. I mean, it still works. I mean, the sponge went a long time ago, but I just used my little sponges that, this one's actually the Tarte Beauty one, but I do use little sponges that you can get on Amazon and I pop them in there, so that works for me. But I really do like this. I have it in R220, which again, this is the old formula. They did reformulate and they also did renumber their products. But I do have my new shade saved somewhere. So at least I know what shade I need. Now this one, again, I'm very curious to see the side-by-sides, and that is my brow pencil. Finally, this thing is looking used. It seems like for the longest time, it was consistently like longer and looked like a regular brow pencil, but finally, I am getting down to it being a nubbin. So this one will be very interesting to see the side-by-sides on this one. I know I can also look in my book and see what my tally marks are and how much it's changed, but sometimes the side-by-side is just very telling. But between the beginning of March and now, I have used 0.54 grams of this. Of course, a lot of the weight is lost whenever you're sharpening the pencil, and the wood of the pencil, of course, weighs more than anything else. So the fact that I have used more grammage of this compared to this, again, is wild. But I'm losing more weight in the wood versus this one is just straight product being used. So this one is exciting. I've been using this for over a year. Let me actually look back and see when was the last time I used up a brow pencil. So I used up my ABH Perfect Brow in May of last year, middle of May. So I started using this pencil last middle of May. So we are way past a year. We're a year and 2 months as of the filming of this, basically. A year and 2 months into this pencil. So if you ever want bang for your buck and you have a little bit more thicker brows, fluffier brows that can handle a thicker pencil and just need a little bit of filling in, these sharpenable pencils are where it's at. Either this one from Benefit or the one from ABH are the two that I've used, and I've panned 2 of the ABH ones so far. This is my first Benefit one that I'm going to pan, and then I have another ABH full one and another one of these full. So I have 3 years of brow pencils sitting in backup just in 2 pencils. So great bang for your buck, especially when I get those on sale. But like I said, we have used 0.54 grams of that pencil. This one will be really easy, and that is my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Bronzer. No difference in this one because I haven't used it. So this is I have 2 bronzers, 2 powder bronzers left in my collection, and I feel like I have something in my eye. So I have 2 powder bronzers left in my collection, the NARS one and this one. I am currently using the NARS one for my project pan, and this one is sitting waiting in the wings, but it has not been touched, so we have no changes on that one. And then, like I said, I did start using my Laguna bronzer this month. Yes, in June, because I finished my Juvia's Place bronzer in June, and I started using this one. So this is what we're looking like. I showed you guys in my project pan, but I'm filming this one a few days later, so maybe you can see the changes in this one about how right in the middle, right there, I am wearing down that the imprint of NARS. So it says here that between the two, I've used 0.89 grams, which doesn't make any sense because that doesn't line up. That doesn't line up with how much I used in my project pan, I don't believe. But I'm going to go with what the weights are here. Oh, that's why. I am not going to go with the weights that are here because they're wrong. I was missing some. So 0.19 is actually what we have used up. So not almost a gram. I was missing the 0.77 on my weights. So 0.19 grams is what we have used so far on this product. You guys will again see me continue to pan this one throughout the rest of the year. And the cream bronzer that I have in here is my ColourPop / Soul Body cream bronzer. This is actually number 5. So I have panned 4 of these in my panning lifetime, and this is what we're looking like right here. So it is actually very low in there. I had a humongous pan on this bronzer, and then I smushed everything back to the center to be able to use this because this one does not remelt well, especially in this component. So I have to squish this one rather than melt it, but we did have a humongous pan on this one. And if I look at the differences in my weights, Jane's going to the other side of the room. You can lay down, bro. I know. All right, he got comfortable. So our changes in weights, and this will show you guys that I have used a lot of this product, but between the beginning of March and now, I have used 9 grams of this. Now there is 31 grams, 31 grams total in this brand new. So in the past couple months, I've used 9 of those 31 grams. We still have a little bits to go, but I do have faith that this will be an empty at the end of the year. But let's move on to my blush, and I finally rolled this one into my project pan after I ended up finishing up my Ofra Chiclet, which you guys just saw that in my project pan update. And so I did roll in Hourglass Mood Exposure. This is now my oldest blush from 2017, and of course I want to get use out of it. The dome on this is flattened, but nowhere near pan. I am going to have to work at this one and just see how much I can, like, this is not going to be an empty. I am not, well, I am delusional, but I'm not delusional with my makeup products. So I know that this is not going to be done by the end of the year. I just want to see how much work I can get done on this one. But even if we are looking at the differences between March and now, I've only used 0.05. That's what happens when you focus on other blushes and you, but again, I'm very happy that I was able to pan my Oh for Chiclet. That to me is more of an accomplishment than focusing on another blush and that one just sitting there like almost done. So I am totally okay with that. This one, again, not going to be a whole lot of difference because I have plans for this one. And that is my Becca Moonstone. We already did have a pan in this product, so I technically have a pan in all of my highlighters, but this one will end up getting Frankened into my highlighting palette once I get to a certain point. So this one we will see very different by the end of the year. I don't feel like I'm going to really get to this by the end of the year, but we will just have to see how that looks, and I will end up showing you guys what the Tarte palette, because this is our next item. Oh, for the Becca highlighter, I've only used 0.01. So I think maybe I dipped into it once for an inner corner or something. But the big difference is this highlighting palette here. Now I am focused on this shade right here, and you guys see this every month in my project pan. Again, big pans on all of these different products, but the idea is that once I get down to about a third of what's left in here, I will mix that with Moonstone, and that will be my new highlighter that goes into this pan, and then I'll just continue to work on this palette. So we will see when we get there and when we Franken, but that is my progress on this one. Since the beginning of March, I have used 0.85 grams of highlighter out of this palette. And again, I update you guys every 5th of the month in my Project Pan video with how many uses total for the month, gram differences, all of that stuff. So if you guys also nerd out about the numbers, that is definitely the video for you. Now, this is an item that I ended up having in my project pan, and then I rolled it out, and that's my Pat McGrath lipstick in Fembot. I told you guys in that video that I ended up cutting a gram of product off of here and mixing it in with one of my Burt's Bees lip balms, and that's how I'm going to end up using this product. I am just not reaching for bullet lipsticks anymore because I do prefer a lip stain or a squeezy tube type of product, which I can probably reapply as we're talking. I've also been drinking something, so it has rubbed off a little bit, but I much prefer a lip balm in a squeezy tube over a bullet lipstick or a lip stain. So I am going to end up using this one by mixing it in with my lip balms and creating my own tinted lip balm. But the big difference between this one is that, like I said, I cut a whole gram off of this. So this is saying that I used 1.05 grams. Again, I didn't actually use it yet, but that's where we're at with this component. So I think that that one will be an empty at the end of the year if I continue to mix it in with my lip balms. Now, this is something that I haven't reached for a lot, and this might need to go into a project or into like a prompt or something like that. But this is my Sephora lip gloss in Dangerous, and we can see that I have a little bit of movement. You might not be able to see it, but I've maybe used it twice. I actually could have put it on with my look today, but I have used this probably twice. It is a beautiful formula, beautiful color. I do like a red lip, but I like it in a glossy format. So I do love this one. I love the Sephora glosses. They are fabulous. but in the past 3 months, I've only used 0.06. So I think for me to focus on this, it either needs to be fall winter time or I need to put it in a project. This lip product here, I think this is going to be the death of me, and this might end up just getting melted down to be a blush, and that is my Hourglass Confession lipstick in If Only. So this is the Never Ending lipstick. We only have that much left, but that much there is enough for like 2 years of lipstick, because these are the Never Ending lipsticks. Even though you see the lipstick go down, the gremlins come and put more on there. So this one here, over the past couple months, I have only used 0.01 grams of this. So not a whole lot. And I don't know, I think part of it is the shade that I'm not in love with the color of this, but again, it's another bullet lipstick. So if this one also gets rolled or mixed in with a lip balm for me to use it, that might be how I get use out of some of my lipsticks. Otherwise, I am just going to have to melt them in with my cream blushes and use them as a cream blush instead. But that one, I'm blissfully ignoring it, and I'm okay with that. So we have my lip liners next. And so we have the main one that I'm using, which is Brink. And again, you guys see this in my project pan. But just a little nubbin that we are continuing to work on. But I don't think that this will be an empty until like September, October maybe time frame. And then my other, as I'm making all of this noise, my other lip pencil is the ColourPop one in Good and Plenty. I actually wore this today, and it is a beautiful color. So I can't wait to start to use this one. But this one, like I said, is still brand spanking new. I just used it today. That's the only reason that tip is kind of worn down. So this one, not going to be an empty. This one will probably actually take me all of next year to use, but those are the only two lip liners in my collection, so I'm not worried about like this one not being used yet, because this is all I have. So that will work for me. I did want to focus on my Makeup Geek liner in silver. And I'm so confused because my Makeup Geek liner in like beige or cream or something like that, it was just like a waterline brightening shade. That thing went so quickly, and this thing seems to not budge at all. But it's just a silver liner, and it's in, actually the shade is Gunmetal, but of course Makeup Geek is no longer a brand. You can't get it, so shade names don't really matter. But look at that. And again, I'm curious to see the side-by-sides, because this shows that between March and now, this shows that this has not changed weight at all. And I know that I've used it. So Gremlins are also putting liner back into this one, but I will continue to kind of work on this. I love using this. So I'm not a cool tone eyeshadow wearer, obviously with my look today, but I like using this in the tight line because I like the way that it makes my eyes look when the light reflects off of like a silver liner with my eye color. So it just makes them look a little bit more blue versus green, which I don't know what shade my eyes look like today. Editing Aaron will have to tell me, but still working on this one. No weight change apparently, so we'll go with that. Now we have my two nail polishes and then my perfume. So I do have one of my Holo Taco flakies. So this is the Fallen Flaky, and I was able to put a new mark on there, if you guys can see. Now I am wearing this flake on my two accent nails today, and I had to put a crap ton of nail polish thinner into this product to actually get it to flow and work. So I am kind of adding volume with the nail polish thinner, but then that ends up evaporating or drying out, and we still get less and less product. But I have been using this flake, especially since I rolled in Olive Grove as one of my nail polishes that I'm using. So I've been loving putting the flaky on top. Now, this actually shows that this has gained weight since last time, but that again is because I'm having to put so much thinner in this to use it. So I will just go by measurements of where the flakes actually settle, and I am down, so I am feeling good about that one. Now, this polish here I have not used, or maybe I've used it once because my weights did go down, but that is the ILNP, so I Love Nail Polish in Misery. And I mean, my line marking is still in the same spot, but apparently my weights went down. So apparently I have used this. Again, I do have to put nail polish thinner into this one as well, but I did go down 0.23 grams, so I did use quite a bit of this. But like I said, when you have to put nail polish thinner into everything, yeah, because it's really gloopy. It like hardly wants to move in the container. So having to thin my nail polishes, again, like it doesn't hurt the weights and my usage, because then I'm actually able to use the product versus it getting completely dried out. But it does add to the weights, it adds to the volume. So, but that one I'm going to get a whole lot more use out of this one in the fall time, because I love this shade in the fall, along with this one. But again, this shade was pulled in my Project 10 uses. I had no control over that. So I am using Olive Grove from I Love Nail Polish as well, which is this beautiful green with a gold shimmer through it. Beautiful. But we have, and this one is probably my most exciting one, and I can't weigh it because it's too heavy, but that's my Perfume. And this is Toy 2, and I'm just not going to pronounce the name of this brand anymore because I pronounce it wrong every time. And you guys tell me how to pronounce it, and then my brain dumps it because I don't need that information. I just know that it's similar to Mosquito. But it's the bear. It is the bear. It is the Toy 2 fragrance. But look at that progress. So of course the bottle does get thinner as we go down, so I expect to be using it faster. But I think I told you guys that this to me is more of a summer and warm weather fragrance, and I was not lying, because look at that. I love this so much. This is actually, I've gone through another one of this size, and I've gone through a travel size. This is my second one that I've gone through. That's the 1.7. I can spray this and wear this to bed. I spray this just to wear around the house just because it's nostalgic and it's delicious and it's fresh and it's just, there's something about it. And I don't think I've ever looked up the notes on this fragrance. Let me actually look up the notes. So it says fruity, floral, fresh, citrus, sweet, musk, green, powdery, and white florals. But what is actually in it? Oh, so a lot of people kind of like vote on things, and a lot of people say that they do like this more during spring and summer, and it is more of a daytime. It's not a nighttime scent because it's so fresh, even though I wear this at night to go to bed because it doesn't bother me. But I'm trying to see, oh, this is probably why I like it. So top notes are apple, mandarin orange, magnolia. Love all of those. When I was growing up, we had a magnolia tree in our front yard, like a huge one. And when it bloomed, the whole front yard smelled like magnolias. Not only that, but I would climb that tree as a child, and just anytime that it was blooming, my mom would like cut off the blooms and put them in a bowl of water and just set them in the kitchen. So the house always smelled like fresh magnolia. So that might be part of the nostalgia of this one. But the middle notes are white currant, peony, and jasmine. And then base notes is musk, sandalwood, and amberwood. Now, I don't know what the rest of those are supposed to smell like. It's the apple, the mandarin, and the magnolia that I think really, really do it for me. And now that I'm smelling it, I don't know. So if my brain sees a picture of something and I smell something, I can associate. So I smell the green apple, I smell the magnolia, I smell the peony. That's what I smell in this. And it is so good. I will consistently repurchase this one, and I usually can find it on sale and find it quite cheap on Amazon. So I am loving that one. This one will definitely be done by the end of summer, so that one will need to be a repurchase. I just almost wish that you could purchase it without the big head. Like just for like the plastic of it, I wish that you could like opt to not buy the head and just buy the bottle. Like I don't need the head of the bear every single time. Unless, hold on, they have here that you can buy the tester and the tester comes without the head. Ooh, well, for $34, I can get a 3.4 ounce of the Toy 2 without the head. So, looks like that is what I am going with next time, because I definitely don't need the head on the bottle, because again, that is very wasteful with plastic. But that is my complete 25 and 2025 update. I'm not upset about it because I feel like I'm doing what I can. I'm doing good progress. So as far as what I suspect for next time, I believe my Misha BB cream will be gone. The perfume will definitely be gone. We're going to expand the pan on this one, but I still feel like because I just have this in my purse and I'm not using this as an everyday foundation, this is just a tool that I'm happy to have in my arsenal, and I'm okay with that. The Fallen Flaky and the these two nail polishes and the Misery one, again, I don't think that these will be gone by next time, but we will definitely see these gone through the end of fall. And this dang eyebrow pencil, I almost feel like we still have another 4 months on this thing. So we will just take it as we can. I will have a lot more empties by the end of the year, and I'm going to figure out what I want to do with my lipsticks, because again, I'm just not reaching for bullet lipsticks. So we will see how all of that goes. But there's my update. I think the most exciting part of this video is going to be the side-by-sides. So once I get to actually see those and I edit those and you guys get to see them, we will be able to figure out what we are looking like on our side-by-sides. But that is my update for Q2. And coming up next, we have my buys and buys. We have Deca Panning, and then my No Pan Left Behind and Project 10 uses. I'm going to sprinkle in my inventory in there, or maybe my inventory might need to be the like August 1st video. And that's just because I don't have the same amount of time because of my work schedule. I don't have the same amount of time to pull everything out of my collection and take pictures. I don't. I love my inventory and I want to do it. I just need to have the time for it. And I think I have another 4-day weekend coming up at the end of the month. And so that might be the time that I pull everything out. So be on the lookout for my inventory sprinkled in here somewhere. But otherwise, we're good. This is where we're at. But otherwise, I am going to go because I have a lot of editing to do with this video. But otherwise, I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm going to encourage you to do all of the YouTube things. So make sure to hit a thumbs up on this video to let me know that you guys are enjoying my content. If you are new or lurking, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It's free for you, but it does help me out a lot. I do project panning, conscious consumerism, using what you have, beauty budget, psychobabbles, and of course my puppy dogs sprinkle themselves in from time to time as well. If that seems interesting to you, stick around because I try to be as consistent as possible with all of this. But I do appreciate the grace that you guys have given me since my work life and my work schedule has changed, because it has impacted how I am able to interact with you guys. That is for sure. But otherwise, I do appreciate you guys so much. Drop me that comment down below. Let me know let's see, what's going to be our question for today? What is your proudest empty moment for the year? So we're halfway through the year. We're more than halfway through the year, Erin. Come on, be real. But we're halfway through the year. What is your proudest empty moment in your collection? Let me know about down below. I want to know. You guys know from my Project Pan that it is my empty bronzer and my empty blush that I shared in my last video. So that's my answer to the question. I want to know yours, so drop that comment down below and let me know. But otherwise, I am going to go. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here with me, and I hope that everybody has a beautiful day. And I'm going to catch you in my next one.